Hi guys, my name is Allie Stoner and I'm a tutor at A-List, and today I'm talking to you about my time at the University of Virginia. So the University of Virginia is located in Charlottesville. This is a really quaint, vibrant city right in the middle of the state. I love Charlottesville. It's my hometown, so I feel very near and dear to it. It's just got a great mix of culture and outdoors. When we were at UVA, we used to say that Charlottesville has more restaurants per capita than New York City. I think that is still true. The music scene is great. There are tons of little independent venues, as well as a huge venue called John Paul Jones Arena. And they have everything from like Disney on Ice to Dave Matthews to Lady Gaga come through. The downtown area of Charlottesville is beautiful. It's this big open brick promenade, I guess. There's a ice skating rink at one end and an amphitheater at the other end, a big outdoor amphitheater. And there's also this big chalkboard called the Freedom Wall. It's like 12 feet tall, 30 feet wide. And there's always chalk and people can draw little pictures or write little notes or poems or whatever's on their mind on the Freedom Wall. I always thought it was really sweet. So yeah, the town itself is really cool. Not so big that you get lost, but not so small that there's absolutely nothing going on. If you want there to be nothing going on, you can drive 20 minutes outside of Charlottesville and you're in the middle of Shenandoah National Park, which has beautiful hiking. There's also like a ski resort in Wintergreen, only an hour away. So Charlottesville's awesome. There's a little bit of everything. The university was founded by Thomas Jefferson in the 1800s, and we, as UVA students, always talked about him like he was still alive. So you'll hear Mr. Jefferson this, Mr. Jefferson that. And a lot of things are done because of Thomas Jefferson's idea of how they should be done and of what the university should be, his idea of a great education. So for example, Thomas Jefferson believed that you could never be a senior in your education. Therefore, we call our students not freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors, but first year, second year, third year, and fourth year. We also call our campus grounds. So if you hear me saying grounds, that's what I mean. He also wanted students and professors to treat each other more like colleagues than the sort of patriarchal, I know everything, I'm going to bestow my knowledge onto you, and that's it. That's the extent of our relationship. He really wanted there to be more of more than just a mentorship, like really students and teachers working together. So therefore, we don't, even if our professors have a PhD, we don't call them doctor. We address them as Mr. or Mrs. And actually, I was on a first name basis with a bunch of my professors by the time I left UVA. This idea of students and faculty working together is even in the architecture of how Thomas Jefferson built and designed the university. So if you imagine our quad, which we call the lawn, it's a beautiful grass rectangle. On either side of the grass rectangle, you'll see big house, little room, little room, little room. Big house, little room, little room, little room. Big house, so on and so forth, yes? So the little rooms were originally, and still are today, student quarters. So there are 50 little rooms facing the lawn, 50 facing outside of the lawn. The big houses are where he wanted professors to live. And guess what? They did then and they still do now. So from the 1800s, students and faculty have been living and working together. At the end of our lawn is the rotunda. This is the library and this is the center of our university. Today we have other libraries. It's mostly now used as an event space and a museum. But it was really cool when the university was founded because Thomas Jefferson believed in religious freedom, right? He believed completely in separation of church and state, yet he was building a public university. Before Thomas Jefferson in America, all of the universities or colleges were created around a church or some sort of religious institution. The University of Virginia was the first secular university in America, which I think is pretty cool. What else? So student life at UVA, the school is a great size. There are about a little over 15,000 undergraduate students. So just like the town is not too big, not too small, I think the school also is not too big, not too small. There's always someone new to meet, always something new to do. But at the same time, walking to class, I would see someone I know or see a friend and be able to chat and say hi. I never felt completely lost or like anonymous in that way. Same thing with class sizes. So if you wanted a big lecture class and wanted that college-y experience of sitting in a 300-person lecture, there's that. If you want to be taking classes with less than 10 people, there's that too. The way it worked out for me was a lot of my intro classes, and how it works out for most people, a lot of the intro classes are these big, huge lecture courses. So like my intro to macroeconomics or intro to comparative politics. These were big auditorium courses. By my fourth year, when I got down to really specialized areas of study, development, I was in the drama department. So we would have less than 10 people. We would have like 8 or 9 on average in my class. So it both gave me a chance to really feel like what it is to be at a public university, have a giant football team, have a lot of school spirit, but at the same time, feel really supported by your professors, form close relationships with people. I thought it was the perfect size. There are a ton of student organizations at UVA. There are maybe like, I think now the figure is over 800 clubs or CIOs. I think the most interesting is our honor council. So well, let's start with this. Fun fact, that big rotunda building that I was talking about at the end of the lawn, the face of that is bulletproof. And this is because in the 1800s, students used to think it was fun to use the clock as their target practice. So they would shoot the hands of the clock off. This is like the sport of the day. Now, so the face of the clock is bulletproof. Something that's not quite as great, but then led to something beautiful, is that I think it was in 1840, 2 students were having an argument on the lawn. There was a lot of hubbub. A professor came out to tell them to be quiet and kind of calm the altercation, and he was shot to death. Obviously, this appalled the university community, the students and faculty. Everyone was shocked, and they got together. And the product of their discussions was what we now call the Honor Code and the Honor Council. So the Honor Code is something that all students sign when they say they're going to go to the University of Virginia. You have to, I don't know if you might have to do it in your application even. And it basically says that if you lie, cheat, or steal, you will be kicked out of the university. So this is the agreement that everyone signs. You say, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to cheat, I'm not going to steal. If any incidences of lying, cheating, or stealing are reported, it goes straight to our student-run honor council. So this is a group of students who reviews cases. They, as a group of your peers, they look at the report and decide, was it a breach of the honor code, was it not? And they determine kind of your fate and what happens. But I think the honor code is really special and really representative of how involved students are at UVA. There's a huge tradition of student self-governance. So we have the honor code, we have the honor council, we have student government, we have all of these completely student-run clubs. We also have a bunch of secret societies, secret or semi-secret societies, which I always thought was really cool. If you walk around grounds at UVA, you'll see these weird letters like Z's or 7s or imps on buildings, and this means that a particular secret society either gave money to a department or gave money to make that building. And secret society members are usually tapped based on whoever's in the society at that time. Usually it has something to do with your academic achievement and your contributions to the university. So what are some of the funny ones? Like the imps, run around with wreaking havoc. Their mission is to create mischief or something. So they have tridents and they'll run through classes in these big red capes and just try and make everybody laugh, basically. There's also the Purple Shadows, who dress all in purple, and every year on Thomas Jefferson's birthday, they'll place a wreath of roses at the bottom of the statue of him on the lawn, and then they set out birthday cake. So everyone for the whole day on April 13th can eat Thomas Jefferson's birthday cake together. There's the Z Society, there's the Seven Society. The Seven Society is cool. They always contribute money or donate money in factors of 7. Or so when I first started at my convocation ceremony, the president of the university said, will the person sitting in the 7th row from the front, 7 rows or 7 seats in, look under their seat? So that student, of course, looked under their chair, and there was a check addressed to my class for $7,777.77 with a note saying, have a great time, from the Seven Society, which was pretty cool. Whenever a member of the Seven Society dies, the chapel rings 7 times at 7 o'clock on the 7th diminished chord. It's wild and very strange and like a weird tradition, but that's what makes up a lot of UVA, and I think it's what makes it so kind of fun and unique too. Some other things about student life. Service, besides self-government, service is a big part of the student body at UVA. So I think the figure is 80% of current UVA students do some type of service over their 4 years at UVA. The biggest organization is called Madison House, and Madison House alone, they do all of the food drive organizing, Big Brother, Big Sister organizing, that sort of thing. They say their figure is something like 100,000 hours each year of community service. It's pretty impressive. And it continues after school too. I have 3 friends who went on to do the Peace Corps and 4 friends who went on to do Teach for America. If you're interested in those programs, let me know. I'll put you in touch with them. There's also something called alternative spring break. So this is, instead of going home and laying on your parents' couch or going to a beach and laying on the beach and getting warm, for 20 years, there's been a student-run organization called Alternative Spring Break. And they organize spring break trips either to somewhere in America or to another country completely, with the purpose of seeing a new place and doing service as well. This could be everything from helping park rangers in the Grand Canyon to assisting with medical clinics in Guatemala to, volunteering at a farm or a school in the Virgin Islands. So again, that's another cool community service option that you have available to you. If you're not into a service trip, but you still want to study abroad, they have a great study abroad program. When I was there, I took the fall of my 3rd year, and I spent that in London. I applied to the Royal. I was interested in theater. I was a double major in drama and arts administration, so I love Shakespeare. I wanted to focus on Shakespeare. I found a program in London, and I was accepted to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, and I lived in London for a semester. UVA was great with helping, like the International Studies Office was fantastic with helping me figure out how the credits would transfer, making sure I had everything in line on my transcript, and being able to graduate in time while still also being able to have this great study abroad experience. They have a satellite campus in Valencia, I think. So I had 2 or 3 students go study in Valencia. I also had a friend do the semester at sea program, which is basically you travel to something like 12 countries over the course of a semester, and you and your professors live on a boat. I think the professors in your classes also partner with organizations wherever the boat stops. But you basically live on a ship for a semester and travel the world and are gaining college credit at that time as well. Really, really awesome. Some other things that were specific to me and my time at UVA, I was in a sorority. So about 35% of our student body is in a sorority. I loved it. I loved the philanthropy aspect of it. Pi Phi was our main philanthropic focus was literacy and improving literacy. So I would tutor in local high schools. We would run book drives. And also there's just the element of sisterhood, right? You join a sorority and you have now all of these amazing lifelong friends. I went to the wedding of one of them 2 months ago. At the same time, the majority of students are not in Greek life. So whether you join a sorority and fraternity or not, doesn't matter. You're going to find your people no matter what. Another thing that was specific to me was the interdisciplinary studies program. So I actually chose UVA because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And I felt like this was one of the schools that was kind of great in all departments, good all around. So I figured no matter where I ended up, I would be in good hands. I thought about doing politics. I thought about doing chemical engineering. And finally, I settled in on drama. But I also wanted something else to kind of assist just my artistic focus. That ended up being arts business for me. At the time, there wasn't an arts business major available. There were a few professors specializing in that area, but there wasn't an official major. So I did the interdisciplinary studies program, which basically, if you have a GPA of 3.5 or higher, you can go to the registrar and say, or apply to this program, and you kind of write up what you want to study. You go through and you pick all of the courses you think will give you the best semblance of knowledge in that field, and you pick a faculty mentor, and then your application is either accepted or denied. I was luckily accepted, and I chose that as my double major. So I studied marketing and development and the nonprofit sector, along with all of the work that I was doing in the arts at the university as well. What else did I do? I ran the arts board for a year. So I was chosen by the head of the drama department. A friend and I ran the University of Virginia Arts Board, which is basically a committee that chooses how to spend this huge amount of money to further the arts at UVA. So we were given thousands of dollars, and it was our job to figure out how to allocate it. In the past, a lot of times people have just brought in a person to give a concert or brought in an artist to set up a display. And sometimes there's a talk back or a little bit of interaction. But our year, we really, really wanted the focus to be on the relationship that these artists build with the students. So we chose to bring in these great members of the Theatre de Complicité company from London. That was a theater company, and they ran a movement workshop with us. Really cool. And then the dance troupe Pilobolus, they've been on like the Tonight Show, and if you ever see dancers dancing behind a white screen making really cool shadow figures, that's probably Pilobolus. But we, as a committee, really loved their style and their aesthetic and how they were creating and what they were creating. A lot of us had been following them for a really long time. They were our heroes, and working on the University of Virginia Arts Board kind of gave me a chance not only to meet them and see their work, but also to network with them. It gave me leadership experience in planning and producing this whole program of workshops, and I had a great time doing it. So that was a really cool experience. I also applied and got an arts grant to study musical theater choreography. So there wasn't much of it at UVA, and there was an opportunity to get funding to go outside of the university if you felt like there was a lack of something in the university. And so I got this grant to go to New York and study the development of musical theater choreography over a long period of time. So basically, I say all this to give examples of how, in my particular field of study, the university supported me, both like in networking, in what I was interested in small class sizes and giving me these leadership opportunities, I felt completely nurtured, I guess is a good word. So anyway, that's just me. There are, even if you're not interested in the arts, reach out to the admissions department at UVA. They will, regardless of the department, there's going to be opportunities like that no matter what you want to study. So I hope this gave you a little bit more insight into the university and what it's like to be a student there. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Good to spend time with you. Bye.